Flames would put their lineup in after the Oilers put theirs in, so Messier going against Roberts. What a change this is.
This is much the same way that the Oilers started. They have Messier out there with Lacombe and Courtnall. Usually it's McTavish centering these two. In the center ice area, pass intercepted by Ramage. It's dumped in. John Tonnelly racing in the corner to McDonald, and Grant Fuhr got a piece of that one. The deflection is brought out by Lacombe to Messier. In across the line. Messier trying to go around Ramage. It was centered. There was nobody there, and Lanny McDonald starts back for the Flames. Good quick start to this hockey game as Ramage bumps Lacombe. Puck goes loose. Messier over to Courtnall, and what a save by Vernon. Center, loose puck in front of the net, and Messier can't get a stick on it as Vernon came flying across to cover up. Two glorious scoring opportunities early for the Edmonton Oilers.
Well, Courtnall on the first one, and he slid it back into the crease. Norm Lacombe did not know the puck was coming there. Finally, Messier was able to get at it, and boy, a real good save though off Courtnall on a pass from Messier. Here's the Messier pass. Watch Courtnall going right to the net. Here's the save by Vernon. Courtnall throws it back at the goal crease, and actually the puck is lying there, but Lacombe has his back to it. It hits his skate, and Messier comes in, and it looked like he might be able to jam it in, and finally Vernon dives over. Roberts is there, and the puck is stopped. It's not in. Definitely dressed a more aggressive lineup. The insertion of John Tonnelly, we saw that line that they had out before of Otto, Poplinski, and Churla. And I think it's a message to the team. We want a physical game. I don't think they feel they can beat this Oilers team on straight-up hockey.
The most experienced of all the competitors in this series, John Tonnelly, in his 143rd Stanley Cup playoff game.
Well, John was very vocal in the fact he missed that one game against the Kings in Los Angeles, but coming back here tonight, he should be primed up, and when you take a Joe Nieuwendyk out and you put in a John Tonnelly, you're putting a lot of pressure, but John Tonnelly being a pressure hockey player, that should not bother him.
Tonnelly with 17 goals in the regular season. He had a goal and 4 assists in the series against Los Angeles, despite the fact he missed one game.
And also a big factor on the power play, and we know that Tonnelly likes to play the slot. He'll be taking over from Joe Nieuwendyk.
The face-off to the right of Mike Vernon in goal for the Calgary Flames. 16:31 remaining in this opening period. It's still scoreless. The Oilers won the first game 3-1. Centered for Curry. Curry tried to go to his backhand. Thought otherwise as he had Suter all over him, and then Suter ties him up along the boards. The puck is loose. There's going to be a penalty here coming up against the Calgary Flames.
Gretzky beat Berezin on the face-off, threw it in front to Curry. The puck never got away from the Oilers, and finally Suter on the right at the bottom here. Suter's the one that pulls the feet, I think, from under him. And here comes the play right here. I think that was Gretzky that was going after the loose puck. There's Curry, pulled down by Suter. First power play of the game for the Oilers.
Smith and Tikkanen are back in the points. The draw comes back to Smith. Over to Tikkanen. Tikkanen dumps it into Gretzky, to Messier. He was looking back to the point for Gretzky, who was out of position.
And it's unusual not to see Wayne Gretzky located behind the Flames' goal. They've put him up on the hash marks on the side, and Messier is going to play on the goal line with naturally Tikkanen being the shooter on the point.
Curry brings it in for Gretzky. Gretzky to Curry. Curry plays it around to the other corner for Messier. Messier looking in front. It bounces and is picked up by Joel Otto, who dumps it down the ice.
Flames were guilty the other night, Don. They were trying to pass the puck through the box. That's what Messier, rather than go back to the easy play to Smith, elected to try to go for Gretzky on the other side of the rink.
Berezin is out there with Hoke and Lode, and Berezin comes up with the puck as he plays it back to the line to Ramage, and he dumps it down the ice, and then he'll go to the box in the change. Flames with their penalty killing, forcing the Oilers back in their own zone.
What it does also, Don, like you said, it really puts the emphasis on checking early in the game, which you want to do.
Gretzky drops it off for Tikkanen, and he hits Smith on the fly down the right side. Smith in across the line. Gretzky with a shot, the save by Vernon as Simpson was in front of the net looking for a rebound.
Well, I think that's the one thing the Flames discussed. They felt that a lot going on after the whistle. They were very unaggressive. They didn't try to get players away from the goal. There wasn't a lot of chances around their goal. We saw a pretty good chance there, though. I think it was Simpson that came in, and finally Gretzky, he elected to take the shot from the angle. But boy, he gets a good shot away here, and Vernon makes the pad save.
Well, you often wonder just how important the first goal in a playoff game is. I think That statistic speaks for itself.
Yes, and Craig Simpson, we know how he likes to get in front of the goal. They haven't put him at the beginning of the power plays, and sometimes you draw the best penalty killers at the beginning of the power plays. Look at 45 seconds left on their power play.
Reinhardt plays it around the boards for Colin Patterson. Patterson gets it ahead to Joel Otto. He's working against Tikkanen, but Simpson manages to get back in the play to help out. Simpson, who led the team in goal scoring, second in the National Hockey League, 56 goals behind Mario Lemieux's leading 70. Didn't get a great deal of ice time the other night. Broken up by the Flames and dumped down the ice with just 20 seconds remaining in the penalty to Gary Suter. Tikkanen taken out of the play, but Gretzky gets the puck, tried to go wink wide, and it was broken up neatly and dumped out by Gary Roberts to Poplinski. Poplinski taking his time as he moves to the corner, looking back to the point to Natras. Natras goes in deep for the Flames. Natras takes the shot. A loose puck in front of the net as he took another swipe at it, and the penalized player Suter is back in the ice.
Well, Tikkanen stayed out the entire 2 minutes as a forward, nearly got them into trouble playing defense.
The fans react to that fine penalty-killing job by the Flames. 13:58 remaining in this opening period. It's still scoreless. McTavish over on the right side to Lacombe. Lacombe to Courtnall. Courtnall can't go anywhere with it, and it's brought out. The play whistled down off. The competing coaches, Terry Crisp and Glenn Sather and Scotty, in your coaching career, you had both of them as players.
Both great role players. The leaders, the skilled players looked up to these two grinders. If they didn't play, you knew they were in the game, though. They were the best bench-warming players I had until I got into problems and I started using them. They were very good team players.
Terry Crisp playing for Scotty Bowman in St. Louis, Glenn Sather in Montreal. And the two of them played together for one season in Oklahoma City. Stolen inside that Flame line, but McTavish couldn't handle the pass, and it's brought out by the Flames. Hunter was looking for it up at the blue line, couldn't quite get there, and the Flames go back into their own zone to regroup.
The style of play, Don, has really got the crowd excited. That's one factor they were looking for.
Here's Lewis to Bullard. Bullard with a shot. Pad save by Grant Fuhr. In the corner, Kevin Lowe gets it ahead to McTavish. McTavish trying to move along the boards. Checked by Lube. Loose puck now picked up by Lowe. He gets it to McTavish. He has it knocked away. And Lowe has to go back into his own zone. Lowe still playing with that cast on his wrist as a result of a broken bone. Drop pass back to the line to McClellan. McClellan with a shot, saved by Vernon. The puck goes in the corner and it's brought out by John Tonnelly. The fans react as the big winner. Winger moves in across the line and he got with a shot.
Script, the crowd favorite, Lanny McDonald took from Tonnelli. He just drilled it right at the net. Fuhr missed it. It went right through it. It surprised them completely. On the turnaround, the Oilers had their fourth line out there. That was McClellan took the shot, and on the turnaround, Tonnelli made a simple pass going over the blue line to McDonald. Watch it play. He's allowed to come up. They got the defense backing up, but you don't score goals on Fuhr from this distance very often on the angle. The puck goes right through him. He was so surprised, and it went up in the top.
Well, I may have misspoken myself when I said John Tonnelli, the big winner, instead of the big winger, but he indeed has been a winner during his National Hockey League career, and he set up that goal by Lanny McDonald, his third of the playoffs at 7:23, and Mike Vernon, the goaltender, also draws an assist. It was an end-to-end rush by John Tonnelli.
Well, the contribution of that line 2 years ago, and Riseborough in the middle, now he's behind the bench, was a big factor.
Here comes Poplinski. Poplinski against McSorley. The glove save by Grant Fuhr. Picked up along the boards by Churla. He tried to flip it into the corner, but Charlie Huddy is there for the Edmonton Oilers. McDonald from Tonnelli and Vernon at 7:23, putting the Calgary Flames in the lead. And remember, reflect back to that statistic about the team that scores first and their success rate in the playoffs. Messier plays it off the glass and into the Calgary end. 11:39 remaining in the period. A much quicker pace to this hockey game than in game one. Smith plays it around the boards. He is hit by two Calgary Flames who are in deep forechecking. Tikkanen had difficulty handling it at the line. Picked up now by Patterson. He gets it out into the center ice area. Gets a return pass from Mullen. Tried to give it back to Mullen, but put himself offside in the process. And the Flames had to go outside the line to regroup.
Much more contact by the Flames. I think they watched the Boston Bruins last night, the way they finishing the check. After the puck carrier lets the puck go, he gets hit.
Gretzky to Tikkanen. Tikkanen trying to go to his backhand. Gretzky gets it again in front for Curry. He couldn't get a shot away. He was tied up by Rob Ramage. Now it's Berezan dumping it out into the neutral zone. Vernon had the puck. He thought there was going to be a whistle, but when there was no whistle, he flipped it ahead, and the Flames brought it out. But now there's a whistle as it's knocked down by Berezan in the neutral zone with a high stick.
Well, there's Randy McDonald, and what a big goal to get that first one. They got them backing off the line, and here they are now. And watch this shot. It's just a routine shot right at the net. Didn't get a lot on it, and it kind of went to the side of his pad and then found the opening between the legs.
John Tonnelly making the play. A milestone game the other night for Lanny McDonald, his 100th postseason game. This is number 101, and what a way to get it started with the opening goal.
I think the Flames would like to use the four lines. They've used it most of the season. They feel it would reduce the ice time of Gretzky and Messier. I don't know if the Oilers will bite for it, though, and go with four lines very often.
Reinhardt to McCrimmon. McCrimmon along the boards to McDonald. He shoots it into Edmonton territory. Tonnelly in there, quickly on top of Muni. The puck goes loose at the side of the net, and Grant Fuhr has to dump it down the ice.
Well, imagine this line of Courtnall, Lacombe, and McTavish had a good series against Winnipeg, and now they'll have to really come to the forefront here.
McDonald in across the line for Roberts. He tried to get it back to the point to Tonnelly. Tonnelly has been very aggressive in this first period for the Flames. That's what they were looking for from the big winger. And now it's Roberts along the boards, and he and Courtnall are going at it. That took place directly in front of the Edmonton Oilers bench, but the two linesmen, Stickle and Collins, quickly intervened.
Well, Roberts, he skates quite a distance to really go after players that have moved the puck, and he's been really tonight, he got a little bit of a cut on his lip here, and Roberts has really been trying to play that body. And there's Dave Hannon for high sticking to put them really in a box with 56 seconds left on Courtnall's penalty. What an opportunity of the Flames right now.
Back to the line to Suter, over to MacInnis. Back to Suter, to MacInnis. MacInnis fakes the shot over to Suter. Suter started to move in, gave it back to MacInnis at the side of the net. Mullen was looking for the deflection. It went over top of the goal. They'll try again to Suter, moving in. To Mullen, in front to Otto, and it bounced away from him. MacInnis with a shot, he scores!
He gets the puck off the backboards, and they played this very well. Suter not shooting rather than faking it. This is a long, hard pass, but watch MacInnis now. He puts it right in just about 3 inches away from that goal post. Boy, what a shot. Here it is right here. And Fuhr, no chance on this one, right by the glove. The other night he grabbed a tough one on MacInnis, but not tonight.
So the native of Inverness, Nova Scotia, who played his junior hockey in Kitchener, makes it a 2-0 game, and the Flames are still on the power play. A minute 37, now a minute 24 remaining in the high sticking call against Dave Hannon. The third goal of the playoffs for Al MacInnis. What
they did so well, the pointmen were not just slapping it anywhere. This pass came from Mullen a bit too hard. He was trying to reach Otto, but look at the windup that MacInnis is allowed to take. Not much the Oilers could do, though. They have to give up something, but I thought Suter made a good play initially, not taking a shot, and rather just faking it and throwing it into Mullen. It started to play.
Mullen and Suter drawing the assists and the goal by MacInnis at 11:26. 1:19 remaining in the power play. Reinhardt to Otto. Otto looking for Reinhardt as he tried to return it to him in the slot and hit a skate. Ramage has it at the line. Ramage to Reinhardt. He couldn't control it. Otto managed to dig it out of the corner. To the other side now to Mullen. Back to the line to McCrimmon. Otto couldn't pick it up at the side of the net. Steve Smith trying to clear it out. Reinhardt keeps it in there to Mullen. Mullen back to the point from McCrimmon. Over to Ramage. Ramage fakes the shot. Plays it into the corner. Steve Smith gets it, but has difficulty clearing it the first time. Now gets it ahead to Yari Curry. He dumps it out to Gretzky in the neutral zone. Gretzky to Curry. Curry in across the line, overskated it, and Reinhart comes back. For Ballard, his pass knocked down in the center ice area. He'll try again over to Rami. 26 seconds remaining in the penalty to Dave Hannon. Now it's Tonnelli along the boards. Having problems there with Lowe, it goes loose. Craig McTavish, who did such a fine penalty-killing job the other night, takes it down into the Calgary zone. It's fired back out to Ballard. Ballard taken out of the play by Lowe. Picked up by McTavish now in his own zone. He's knocked off the puck. McGinnis with a shot. And Fuhr got a piece of that one. That one was labeled for the top corner, just like his first goal. And now the Oilers are back at full strength. Messier along the boards to Hannon. He's having problems getting out. Finally it comes ahead to McTavish. Working against McInnes. Penalty coming up here against the Calgary Flames. And as they touch it, the whistle goes with 6:37.
If you're a Flame, you'd like to get a better penalty than this one after two-man advantage for the Flames. And there's the little chop by Ballard on McTavish. And McTavish really wasn't going anywhere. McInnes had him pretty well lined up. A very foolish penalty for Ballard to take with a 2-0 lead, and especially after the referee had put the Oilers two men down.
Well, this game is more like what I'm sure most fans anticipated seeing in the Smythe Division final. Messier at the line to Curry, back to Huddy, to Curry, Huddy in deep, to the point, to Curry. Curry dumps it into the corner for Messier. Back to Curry, trying to set something up. Messier in front, goes off the skate into the net. I think that may have gone off defenseman Napras's skate, or maybe even Vernon, but it went off the skate. I don't believe an Oiler got a stick on that puck.
And the Oilers decided to change their power play. They went to the opposite side. They put Huddy instead of Smith. Curry was more active, and Gretzky comes out from behind the net. That's who Messier was trying to hit. And like you said, I went off. I don't know if it went off the goaltender or went off right in front of the net, but here's the pass from Curry. Gretzky slips out in front. He's trying to get the pass from Messier. Yes, went off the defenseman and in.
And for Mark Messier, that's his 6th goal of the playoffs, with Curry and Huddy drawing the assists, and that comes at 13:49. Now it's Mullen in across the line. Curry picks it up, and Curry, with no one to pass it to, plays it off the boards and down the ice.
Well, you don't see pattern plays, Don. I mean, these teams can adjust so well. The Oilers weren't happy with their first couple of power plays. Bang, they change it.
Racing back after it is Charlie Huddy. Huddy to Tikkanen. Tikkanen, rink wide, picked up off the boards by Gretzky. Gretzky drops it to Curry. Curry at the line. Dumps it into the corner, and it's picked off there by Berezan. He can't clear. Curry with a shot. It goes wide. Now in the corner, it's Tikkanen. Back to the line to Marty McSorley. McSorley plays it in behind the net. Curry trying to get it out front. It goes to the corner. Tikkanen back of the net looking for Gretzky. Gretzky tied up there by Reinhart, but he can't get it out. Loose puck picked up in front of the net by Mullen, and Mullen plays it off the boards and out to the neutral zone. 2-1, the Flames in front. 5:07 remaining in this opening period. Gretzky steals it. Gretzky tries to slide it across the hand, and it never got there. Gretzky gets it again in front, and the shot knocked down off the stick of Hannon.
That turnover with Joey Mullen to give the Oilers a good chance. They had a lot of pressure on that Gretzky, Tikkanen, Curry line.
The puck back into the Calgary zone. As the Oilers make a change, Napras falls on top of the puck, resulting in a whistle. And it looks very much as though the Red Wings will be heading for St. Louis with a 2-0 series lead. Flames trying to prevent the Oilers from going home with a 2-0 lead, and they have a 2-1 lead in the game at the moment. It's fired deep into the Edmonton zone. Lou plays it around the boards. Kevin McClelland has it. He didn't see a great deal of ice time the other night in Game 1. Probably been on the ice more already this evening. In the center ice area, Hannon races after it. Hannon lets a shot go. That went off the leg into the corner. Hunter dumps it out to the neutral zone. Craig Muni plays it to the line. Picked up there by Suter. Suter circling to get away from Krushelniski. Now gets it over to Napras. Rink wide to Suter. Suter, the leading point-scoring defenseman in the NHL. He's upset. The fans react, thinking there should have been a penalty, but there was no whistle.
One of the officials in the league who is very concerned about diving and talking with McCurry today, and I don't think you'll see much any penalties called when players dive like that one.
He said he had a couple of incidents in the series between Winnipeg and Edmonton where players were taking a dive. Picked up now by Anderson. Anderson has to wait for Simpson to try and get outside the line. He doesn't. Simpson takes a really good hit from Lanny McDonald. Lost his stick in the process, but he was sandwiched between a couple of the Flames. Back comes Roberts. Roberts slides it to the goal mouth. Can't get through himself. And Fuhr leaves the puck in behind the net for Tikkanen. To McSorley to Anderson. Anderson for McSorley. He couldn't control it. He's taken in heavily against the boards by Rob Ramage. The puck to the line. Tipped in by Huddy. His shot knocked down in front of the net. Ramage plays it ahead to Roberts. Roberts trying to shoot it in is checked by McSorley, and the Edmonton defenseman comes up with the puck. Back to Tikkanen to Huddy. Up into the center ice area to Glenn Anderson. Anderson crossing there with Gretzky, but stealing the puck is MacInnis. To Mullen. Three of them in across the line. MacInnis with a shot. It doesn't get through. It was blocked in front. Gretzky comes back for the Oilers with Anderson. Going for the net is Gregg. There's the shot by Gretzky, and the puck is knocked off its moorings as Gregg went right through to the goal line. Berezan moves into the circle. Krushelniski will oppose him. Ramage is back at the blue line along with MacInnis. From the draw, Gregg in the corner, leaves it there for Smith. He plays it around to the other side. Gretzky gets it out into the center ice area, picked up by Krushelniski and across the line with Curry. Curry drops it there for Smith. He couldn't get a shot away as he was checked by Berezan. Ahead to Mullen. Mullen winds up. Saved by Grant Fuhr. Patterson was trying to catch up with the play. Now back comes Krushelniski. Krushelniski for Gretzky. Gretzky puts on the brakes. To Krushelniski, he couldn't get a stick on it. Muni plays it into the corner. Dug out by Krushelniski. Krushelniski tried to center it. Berezan intercepts and clears the zone. Dumped back in by the Oilers. They make a change as Suter with 1:08 remaining in the period gets it ahead to Ramage. To Lou. Back to Suter. Suter ahead to Lou. Lou with a shot. Saved by Fuhr. The puck loose in front of the net, and Muni tries to get it out and succeeds as he moves it ahead to McTavish. McTavish knocked off the puck at the line by Lube in the center ice area. Picked up now by Courtnall with a long shot right on, and Vernon makes the save. Lacombe takes Suter in against the board. Lacombe picks it up in his skates. Now goes back to the net, looking into the slot area. The pass doesn't get through, and Lube gains control for Calgary. Lube over on the left side for Suter, and back in the Calgary zone. A Flame player, Tim Hunter, was down and skating slowly to that Calgary bench.
Two great chances, one by Mullen, one by Lube, but real solid positioning by Grant Fuhr. He's out right where he's supposed to be, especially on the shot by Mullen. He was out a good 5 or 6 feet out of his goal crease and was able to cut down the angle. Of course, Fuhr, not only when he's out of the angle, Don, can he make the save, but he also keeps his glove active, and that's something that a lot of goalies feel. They get out, they block the angle, and if the puck hits them, fine, but it's pretty tough to get by him from there.
24 seconds remaining in the period. From the face-off, it's deflected over the glass and out of play.
Well, I think the Flames, the pattern that they've been able to establish, we've seen a much more aggressive game plan from them, and also the fact that McCurry has allowed the two teams to play a lot more than we've seen in some games, but there's been a lot more discipline, not so much dick work, and I guess the penalty to Hannon maybe and the penalty to Bullard, the two offsetting penalties that could have been avoided by the players.
9 shots on goal by each side. In across the line. Knocked down by Patterson, having problems getting it out of there. He'll try again. Patterson dodges a check from Messier, who appeared to have them all lined up as Messier came moving up to the blue line. Now it's McCrimmon flipping it in, and that will end the period. A very entertaining period here in Game 2 at the Saddledome.
The first one is on McSorley. He just finishes the check. He doesn't try to put him right through there, but it's a good crunch. Two big guys. Big McSorley took it, though, in stride, and this was a check on Simpson. Watch this one here. And he sort of stuck out his leg, and Simpson ran into Ramage and McDonald. Maybe fortunate that he wasn't called on the penalty on that one.
Second period underway now. Flipped in on the right side for Tonnelli. Too far. Knocked back out. Courtnall having difficulty controlling it. The Flames steal it. In front of the net they were looking for Tonnelli. And McDonald's pass didn't get through. Now it's McTavish bringing it out for the Oilers. Dumping it in for Lacombe. He's tied up by Tonnelli. The puck goes into the corner. Vernon way out of the net to play it. Now it's picked up by Roberts. Roberts in his own zone. Off the boards for Tonnelli. He comes out with McDonald. On the right side for McDonald. McDonald is spun around and Kevin Lowe tried to get it out quick. McDonald with the shot. Right on. The veteran McDonald letting go a couple of howitzers at goaltender Grant Fuhr. And now it's Roberts and McTavish in front of the Calgary bench. They dropped their gloves, but very quickly Kevin Collins got between them and no punches were thrown. Well, it's going to be Grant Fuhr who is going to draw the penalty, an interference call. And Shane Churla was injured, and Bearcat Murray helps him off the ice.
Well, there's a look at Churla, 15, the one that was injured, and he goes pretty close to the goal crease and gives a little tap. And I thought it was Muni, but he tripped over, finally over the goalpost. But nevertheless, a penalty to Fuhr.
An interference call against the Edmonton goaltender.
Simpson is serving the penalty, of course, coming. Simpson had been on the ice when that penalty occurred, and also Simpson was upended in the when the referee was overcalling the penalty. I think Otto, it didn't look like it was intentional, but there was a collision just inside the blue line. I think that's possibly what they're saying to McCreary here now.
So the Calgary Flames go to the power play, a power play that has been much more effective in tonight's game than it was in game one.
Well, I think the big change, like you mentioned, there's Churley. He's got the ice pack over the knee, and when you're looking at the way that they're lining up, I think Tonnelli's going to be a big factor for the Flames power play because they got him on that off wing now.
One of the interested spectators we just caught a glimpse of, Don Johnson, the Miami Vice star. Shot on goal, move with the rebound, and Fuhr came across as it came off the end boards and made the save. Now in the center ice area, it is Sutter. Over to Bullard. He's checked. Picked up by Loob on the right side. For Tonnelli, back to Loob. Loob tried to play it back to the point, and it's deflected out into the center ice area. Messier picking it up and across the line. Drops it between his legs. Dealing with the shot, he hit the post. And Vernon covers up for a face-off. Otto will oppose Gretzky in the face-off circle to the right of Vernon.
They want Otto to be physical in front of the Oilers' net on the power play, and that's what they're talking about today, the Flames, to get physical when they're on the power play. Get involved.
Ramage, who has certainly been physical tonight, brings it out. Now on the right side. Centering pass is deflected and knocked back out into the neutral area. Ramage shoots it in. McCrimmon trying to pick it up off the boards. Plays it around to the corner for Reinhart. Back to the line for Ramage. Over to McCrimmon. Into Reinhart. Reinhart to Mullen. Tees it up. Fuhr got a piece of it. In back of the goal. Reinhart falls. Mullen comes in trying to dig it out of there. Reinhart gets it again. Plays it back to the line to Ramage. Ramage with a shot. Scores!
Like we talked about, Joel Otto was very aggressive behind the net. Lowe and Otto were sort of tangled up. They got back in front of the net. Reinhart got it back to the point. Ramage let it go, but Otto was stationed. Watch big Joel Otto, 29. There's the first hit. That's something they were looking for, and Lowe and he were going at it. Finally, the puck comes on the other side, and I think it goes back to the point, but watch Otto. He comes right in front. Here's the tip in on the shot by Ramage, and Otto gets good position right in front of the Oiler and tips it up high. Otto was very involved in that goal. A good shot to tip, though, by Rob Ramage.
Another power play goal for the Calgary Flames. It's 3-1. McTavish in his own zone. Back to Steve Smith. Over to Randy Gregg. He moves it ahead to McTavish. McTavish is taken out of the play by McInnes. Reinhardt and Mullen drawing assists on the goal. Coming at 3:56. Roberts intercepts. The pass gets it ahead to Tonnelli. Tonnelli in front of the net. A deflection, and Fuhr came up with it as McDonald was driving for the net and deflected it into his...
Donald, Roberts, and Tonnelli lines really been in a real thorn in the side of the Oilers tonight.
Two of the veterans, McDonald and Tonnelli, have certainly been factors so far in this hockey game. Bullard trying to get away from MacSorli along the boards. They continue the battle in the corner. Hunter is there as well, along with McTavish, but they succeed in tying it up for a faceoff.
And they've got Hunter out there with the two skilled players, Bullard and Loob. And you knew after the first game, the Flames coaching staff to a man, they didn't want to put any pressure on their power play. I think they were very proud of their record during the season. They low-keyed it. They played it down. They said, we need more chances, even strength. But you knew that they had the pride in their power play, and getting 2 goals is a big lift for this club on their power plays thus far tonight.
15-18 left in the second. Bullard fired it through the goal mouth. Nobody there for a deflection. Now it's picked up by Charlie Huddy to McTavish. And across the line, working against Suter. McTavish takes a shot, and making the catch is Vernon, with Portnoy standing right on the doorstep.
Well, that's the stuff they were talking about the other night. They felt they did not really take the assertion and the initiative to get players away from the goal crease in the corners, and every time we've seen a confrontation tonight, somebody from the Flames has been trying to push an Oiler. This is a shot right from McTavish. Courtnall's right in front. I think it's Natras that's given that extra shove. Get away from there. The next time it'll be down, and I think that's one thing the Flames have designed strategy for this game.
Messier is out there now with Anderson and Simpson. Huddy and MacSorli back on the blue line.
This is the line, of course, the Messier, Anderson, Simpson line. You look to them to lead the attack. They've been inconspicuous in the last 4 periods.
In the corner, it's Suter. Laying it ahead for Puklinski. He moves it to Churley. He had a little difficulty controlling it in the center ice area. And MacSorli takes over in his own zone. Ahead to Messier. Simpson catching up with the play on the left side. Couldn't control the pass, and he's bumped by Natras. Messier is taken in against the boards by Suter. Messier and Natras continue the battle. It comes loose to Anderson. Anderson looking for someone to pass to, but it's intercepted by Puklinski, who starts back for the Flames. He's taken in against the boards by MacSorli. Manages to continue on, but can't center it. And the Edmonton defenseman comes up with it ahead to Messier. Messier working against McCrimmon along with Simpson. The two of them come in across the line. It goes loose in the corner. Simpson is bumped. The puck picked up by Churla. Over to Tonnelli. Tonnelli down the left side, hit by Craig Muni. Tried to get it back to the point as he was falling, and it's intercepted by Simpson. Simpson to Gretzky. Gretzky back to Simpson, and he was looking in across the line for Curry. Intercepted, and back comes Roberts. Roberts tried to slide it across. It was knocked out across the line, dumped right back in by the Flames.
Well, this style of play, Don, has got the crowd much more alive. They're really following up line after line. A lot of physical play by the Oilers, or by the Flames, rather. And now we saw that big line of Puklinski and Otto, and Churla really doing a job against Messier's line.
Well, the fans at the Saddledome tonight delighting in the penalty-killing job of the Calgary Flames, as well as the work of the Flames on the power play. Very
aggressive in front of the Flames net, and it was Simpson really taking a lot of abuse from about 3 different Flame players.
From the face-off, back to Steve Smith, a shot, and it's deflected. A loose puck at the side of the net. Vernon was down. It was dumped out of the zone. Smith broke his stick, and that point position was empty, and the Flames were able to clear it out. McClelland in his own zone. Plays it around, back of the net to Smith. Gets it up on the wing to McComb, who dumps it out. Going back after it is Suter. Suter to Joel Otto. He dodges a check. Looking on the right side for Churla, too far for him. In the center ice area, it's McClelland with a shot. The save as he came in across the line by Vernon. Then Puklinski dumps it down into the Edmonton zone. 9:58 remaining in the second period. 3-1. The Calgary Flames in front of the Oilers, trying to get back on even terms in this Smythe Division final. McTavish tied up back of the net. Roberts tried to move it out. Now it comes out the other way, but Huddy keeps it in at the point. Tonnelli along the boards, trying to move it out of there. He's having some problems. Finally, it deflects over the glass and out of play.
Well, you look at that line again, and you know, when you look at the way the Flames have got their lineup, and MacDonald, Tonnelli, Roberts, but Churla out there with Poplinski and Otto, and a lot of controversy going into the game. Shane Churla dressing a Joe Nieuwendyk coming out, but it'll all be forgotten. There'll be no controversy if the Flames keep playing the style of game that they've really had a game plan. And to a man, there's hardly been a passenger. The other night, Chris they asked him how many passengers did he have. He said all our forwards, and he put a lot of pressure on them. But tonight they've really gone out of their way to make sure when the Oilers move the puck, that player is eliminated from the further play.
9:34 left in the second. Game 3 of the series takes place at Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton on Saturday night. From the face-off, McSorley shot right on. Vernon makes the save. In the center ice area now, dumped ahead for Patterson, too far for him. In the corner, Charlie Huddy has it for Edmonton. He moved it up along the boards, and Tikkanen has it as he starts back for Edmonton. To McSorley. McSorley brought it in across the line, but they put themselves offside with 9:09 left in the period. Well, there have been many nights inside the Saddledome where it's been a very quiet crowd, but this is a noisy full house tonight. 19,626, the official count, watching the action. McSorley tried to dump it in. It was knocked down by Hunter, but McSorley gets it back in the center ice area. His pass for Gretzky. Gretzky couldn't control it, but Anderson does. Oh, that's a rocket goal that just missed the net. Back to the line to Huddy with a shot. Scores!
Well, Sather tried to break the rotation. He double-shifted Kurri and Gretzky, threw Anderson out there, and the Flames counted. It's the first time tonight, I think, that Ballard was out there against Gretzky. A little bit of pressure, and there's the shot from the point by Huddy. I mean, the shot comes up here, and watch Vernon. I think he really loses sight of this when he's moving out, and finally Huddy tees it up, and it goes over his shoulder as Vernon goes down just a little bit and allows the puck to go in over the right shoulder. There it is, right there up high, but a good strategic move by Sather to double shift Gretzky and allow them to get out against Ballard and Loob's line.
Charlie Huddy with the goal at 11:20, bringing the Oilers within 1. A lot of traffic in front of Vernon as Huddy from the point moved in with that shot, that rising shot, just going in under the crossbar.
And Beresin had just killed most of that penalty along with Patterson, so, you know, it's often tough to double shift a Beresin or Patterson, but you know Gretzky does it so often, he and Kurri.
Anderson and Kurri drawing the assists on Huddy's goal. 8:40 left to play. Lowe back in his own zone. To Craig Muni, to Anderson, into the center ice area for Jari Kurri. He's stopped at the line. Lowe dumps it back into the Calgary zone. The crowd was so noisy, and then that goal by Charlie Huddy has quieted things.
The Flames have out there, and that's the line I think tonight, in Churla, Poplinski, and Otto. Probably their three most aggressive forwards, although you wouldn't be able to know it the way MacDonald and Tonnelli have played, but three big forwards, and they've tried to play them against the Simpson, Messier, Anderson line. Well, Messier can look after himself, although Simpson being a rookie a couple of years ago, only his first big playoff series, they really got Churla trying everything he can to intimidate Simpson.
Poplinski facing Tikkanen in the circle to the right of Vernon. From the draw, Trimmin back of his own net, playing it off the glass. Here stops it there for Kevin Lowe. He quickly plays it around on the boards for Simpson, who attempted to deflect it out to Messier or Tikkanen, who were breaking down the ice, but it never got through. Now Lowe tries again from his own zone. Dumps it off the boards. Reinhardt is back, being watched by Simpson. Tikkanen intercepts. It's loose in that Calgary zone. Finally poked up along the boards and into the center ice area. Fired right back in by the Oilers. Flames dump it out of there. Greg has to wait for a teammate to get onside before flipping it back in. And now there's a whistle, and I think there's going to be a penalty here as Poplinski and Messier directly in front of that bench do some shoving.
A lot going on because I think it was Churla upended Tikkanen, and Tikkanen was very fortunate on the other side. He came back very hard on one of the players on the Flames, and I think it might have been Otto, but it looked like everybody was trying to get into it. I think what the Oilers are doing, they're taking exception to the fact, I mean, they're running maybe 10 and 15 feet after the Oilers moved the puck. I think it was Randy Gregg brought his stick up initially on Churla, and Churla's the one forward that's really went out of his way to make sure he finishes his checks.
Churla is heading to the penalty box.
Well, Messier's also, he hasn't got a stick, and Collins is telling him to get in the box and somebody will bring the stick over.
And Messier now takes up his position in the penalty box, and this is how it all developed in front of the bench.
Well, there's Simpson. He took, that wasn't the initial. I think it's right here. Watch Churla. He'll come in. I think it's Churla. Here he comes. He just came across there and took out Gregg, and that started it.
Poplinski has also gone to the box.
See, here's Gregg right now, and watch Churla now. See, he comes in again, and Gregg gets his stick up, and I think you'll see there's Messier took a slash at Poplinski, and they both sort of put their sticks at each other.
So Poplinski and Messier with the offsetting minors.
That's right.
Churla draws the extra.
The initial call would have been on Churla for going after Gregg. I think that's what he's explaining to Chris.
High sticking penalties.
Well, we were wondering how much would the Oilers take in the contact fact, and I think the fact that they got that goal to close the gap to 3-2, but they showed a little bit of their frustration on the last play, and it's pretty tough, Don, when guys keep coming at you. You know, eventually you're gonna, I mean, I think from the Flames standpoint, they're trying to curtail the speed of the Oilers, and also the fact to remind them when you do make a pass, you're not getting back in the play. Well, here's the play, and I think Vernon, he just goes down enough to let the puck go over the side, and he was searching for the puck. He didn't see it. It was a routine shot, and you know, with the goals that the Flames have scored, the Ramage goal tipped in by Otto, and the McInnes goal, the point that have really been active as far as the goal scoring is concerned. 3 of the 5 goals.
So that goal brought the Edmonton Oilers to within 1. Goal by Charlie Huddy, and now they have an opportunity on the power play to perhaps get back on even terms. Ramage fires it deep as Tikkanen goes back to try and set something up for Edmonton. 7:13 remaining in the second period. Gretzky wheels his way out. Drives it in. Vernon plays it off the end boards. Ramage tries to clear. He can't. Curry with it. To Smith, a shot saved by Vernon. Smith gets it back over to Tikkanen. Tikkanen fakes the shot to Gretzky. Gretzky at the side of the net to Anderson. Anderson to Gretzky. Gretzky moving in. Fakes one. Takes the shot. Scores! What a beautiful move by Gretzky. He faked once, twice. Made another move in and let that rocket go.
It's amazing that Gretzky was able to really restrain himself from shooting the first one. Like you said, I haven't seen many players that can have the composure. Watch Gretzky. Watch him. He's pumping now, and he's setting it up again, and boy, he drills it. And actually, I think it went in off the goalie, but boy, did he ever get a lot on it. We're going to get a good look at it. He was able to stop his pump in motion. There it is. No, it actually went right through him. Vernon's just under his arm, but boy, Gretzky, was he ever really getting the defense to go down on that one.
So power play goal by Wayne Gretzky. It's 3-3 with 6:42 remaining in the second. Third goal of the playoffs for Wayne Gretzky. He had one in the series against Winnipeg. He had a goal last night and the tying goal tonight. Tikkanen and Smith drawing assists. Roberts now trying to go around McSorli. Puck goes loose in the corner. McSorli can't clear. Tonnelli taken in against the boards. Puck comes back to the line. Reinhart with a shot. It's deflected. Home couldn't get it out. Courtnall now tries. Donald keeps it in. Aggressive work by the Flames inside that Edmonton blue line. McDonald along the boards. Looking back of the net for Tonnelli. Tonnelli to McDonald. His shot goes off a skate to the corner. Roberts is bumped by Lacombe. They play it to the other side. Edmonton having difficulty getting out of its own end, and finally it's lofted down the ice by Charlie Huddy.
Good shift by Brad McCrimmon, pinched in twice and once just about at the goal line to keep the first play in.
In the neutral zone, Loob and Curry battle for it, and Hunter steps into Curry and sends him flying. Loeb in his own zone, can't clear. Here's a shot right on, and Pure makes the save. And again, the Calgary Flames trying to crowd that goal, and Gary Roberts, who let the initial shot go, comes in late, and he does some pushing in front of that Edmonton net.
Curry took a shot from Hunter, and he's decided to get a new partner. Now he's with Loob, but you know, that's one thing I mentioned. The Flames, they've been much more aggressive anywhere, any confrontation near the goal crease, and there's a guy, Roberts, that looked like everything was quelled and it was all over, and Roberts came in again.
5:26 remaining with the score tied at 3. Calgary enjoyed a 2-0 lead in the first period before Messier got his 6th goal of the playoffs. And they went ahead 3-1, but Edmonton came back with 2 goals here in the second, the most recent by Gretzky on the power play. From back of the net, Reinhardt gets the puck and fires at the length of the ice.
Well, Gretzky on the side has been a big factor, but I think most people feel that he's probably the most dangerous player behind the net. He's hard to defend, but they've put a new wrinkle in having him stand on the side more than they have in most other games that I've seen him play.
Smith drives it in. Comes back to the line to Gretzky. Over to Smith. Smith takes a hit from Natras as it goes into the corner. Reinhardt gets it ahead to Natras, and Natras clears.
Well, the power plays, we talked about it before the first game. They've been another factor tonight. And the Oilers getting back in the game on that Huddy goal, you know, really looked like they were going to settle in. And the Flames was all Calgary up to that time.
Anderson can't control it in the center ice area. Berezan bangs it down the ice. The Oilers having some problems getting this power play organized. Just 55 seconds remaining in the penalty to Ramage. Out comes Gretzky. His pass, as he was looking for Anderson, is intercepted by MacInnis and dumped the length of the ice.
Gretzky's had a lot of ice time in this second period. They haven't been able to shoot the puck in. They're trying. The plays at the Calgary blue line have been intercepted.
Curry comes to the line. He has to circle as Simpson was offside. Now Tikkanen will try it. He drives it in. McCrimmon picks it up in the corner, gets it ahead to Joel Otto. He spots an opening and clears it.
Well, you can't change your mind. If you're going to shoot it in, you've got to all know it. If you're not going to, then you've all got to know it as well. And I think that's one thing the Oilers are having a problem with.
Again, Otto doing a great job of penalty killing. Gets that opening to clear it and goes to the bench. Just 7 seconds remaining in the penalty to Ramage. Very effective penalty killing again by the Flames.
Yes, and this is a big penalty for the Flames to kill.
Now it's Loob stealing it in the center ice area to Reinhardt. He's stopped at the line. Charlie Huddy bangs it off the boards and out into the center ice area. 2:46 left in the second period. The score is tied at 3. MacSorli being chased by Berezan. Gets it to the line, and it's bounced out into the center ice area by Simpson. MacSorli and Hunter, 2 big men, collide in the corner. The puck goes loose. It comes to the point now. Reinhardt with a shot. Fuhr somehow got a piece of it, and Fuhr is sent sprawling, and there's going to be a penalty coming up against the Edmonton Oilers. It looks as though Marty MacSorli will be going off for holding. A power play opportunity now for the Flames with 2:22 remaining in the period. Suter back at the point. Plays it into the corner. Bullard is there. Bullard to the line to MacInnis, over to Suter. Fakes the shot to Lou. Back to Suter. He lets it go. Right on the rebound. They jam away at it. And somehow Fuhr managed to keep it out as Messier breaks up. Play is whistled down. Back at the Edmonton goal as the net was knocked loose. But there was a real skirmish in front of that goal as Fuhr made the initial save, and then Tonnelli and others drove for the net looking for the rebound.
Well, we saw the way they've been killing penalties. They give up, and Tonnelli was the one who had a couple of whacks at it. Finally, the puck lay loose. I think Messier came in and picked it up, but what the Oilers have been doing on the power play, they really only force one side, and they give up the pass across, and then finally they get back to that guy. But the way Suter and MacInnis can shoot, if the Flames can move the puck to that open man, they're going to get those good shots like they did there.
Randy Gregg taking Tonnelli out of the play, and Ballard was sent in to the net by Steve Smith. 1:39 remaining in the penalty to MacSorli. Smith in his own zone, dumps it the length of the ice. 3-3 the score. Game 3 of this Smythe Division Final on Saturday night at the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton. Suter is forced back into his own zone to MacInnis. Now Suter starts up. He drives it in. It comes back to MacInnis. MacInnis at the line, lets a shot go. It deflects off the skate and doesn't get through. And Hanna brings it down the ice and dumps it into the Calgary zone and goes to the bench on a change. Messier out there penalty killing now for the Edmonton Oilers along with Gretzky. Reinhart to Joel Otto to Mullen. Mullen plays it around the boards. Suter gets it back of the net. Mullen to Reinhart to Mullen. Mullen back of the net to Reinhart. Reinhart trying to center it, looking for Mullen. And it's intercepted by Gretzky. He clears it as we move into the final minute of the period. Gretzky knocks down a pass in the center ice area and bangs it back into Calgary territory.
Strange, Don. The power play's been so effective in this game, but the last Oiler power play, nothing happened. Now the Flames are struggling.
Steve Smith tries to play it out of there. It takes a strange bounce right in front of the net. And finally, Gregg bangs it over to Curry, and Curry simply dumps it deep into the Calgary zone. With 28 seconds remaining in the period, just 4 seconds in the penalty to MacSorli. Mullen in across the line for Otto. Otto is bodied. The puck goes loose, and it's picked up by Curry with MacSorli back in the ice. Curry fires it deep into Calgary territory for an icing call, and that comes with 10 seconds left in the period.
Well, they're right back into the game, and when you look at the way the Oilers were killing that penalty, it's the same twosome, Gretzky, Messier, and Curry at the end. But Curry really guilty of icing the puck with just 10 seconds to go, and the face-off coming deep in the Oiler end, and I'm sure the Flames will have a play with just 10 seconds left.
Bob Ramage, a very physical player tonight for the Calgary Flames, back on the blue line.
Well, what the penalties do also, Don, I think, you know, the line of Tonnelli, McDonald, and Roberts was a factor, and now when you start trading power plays back and forth, you get out of sync.
Messier moves into the circle against Ballard. Crimmon is the only man back in the line. Ballard trying to get the draw back there. They tie it up, and it goes in behind the goal. Huddy fighting with Mullen. Final seconds of this period ticking away, and that will do it.
Well, a strong ending for the Oilers. They're coming off the floor. It looked like things were really bleak. They got those 2 goals. They go in the dressing room tied, saying to themselves, 1 period could mean 2 games.
Lube leading the attack. Lube in across the line with Berezan. Lube with a shot, and that goes off Steve Smith. He bangs it off the boards, looking down the ice for Courtnall. Courtnall working against Suter. He takes him out of the play, and gathering it up behind the net is McCrimmon. McCrimmon ahead to Lube in the neutral zone. 3-on-2. Over on the wing for Berezan. Berezan takes the shot, saved by Fuhr, and the puck in front of the net brought out by Curry. Good end-to-end action here in the third to Gretzky. In across the line. Gretzky moving into the slot for Curry. He deflected it, and it went wide. Gretzky has it back of the net. Gretzky looking out front. It went off Patterson. It's back of the net with Curry. Gretzky is tied up back of the goal by Patterson. Berezan has the puck and starts back for the Flames. For Churla, in across the line, it's whistled down on an offside pass.
Well, see, the defense gets split here, and Smith, he commits himself to watch the puck go through to Lube. His partner on defense comes sliding across. I think it was Huddy, and look at the open net goal for Hunter. But there's about 3 mistakes on that goal. Fuhr played the shooter and went down, and the puck went across, and Hunter scored the lead goal, 4-3 Calgary.
Probably one of the easier goals that Tim Hunter has ever scored. His 4th of the playoffs from Lube and Ballard. And a very important goal it could be for the Calgary Flames as they lead it 4-3. Simpson bangs it into Calgary territory. It's left back of the net for Reinhardt. Up along the boards for Churla. Ahead to Otto. He had difficulty controlling it, manages to get it back. Charlie Huddy goes into the corner after. Up along the wing for Simpson. He deflects it out into the center ice area. Reinhardt goes back, wheels and fires and hits teammate Joel Otto. Now it's Mark Messier circling in the center ice area. In across the line. He ran into his teammate Simpson, and it's brought back out by the Flames. In the neutral zone, Poplinski puts a long shot to the Edmonton net. Here is forced to make the save. Played up along the boards, and Tikkanen will try and get it out. He succeeds. 11:54 remaining in the period. MacInnis has to stop at the line and wait for Bullard to get onside. Then he shoots it into the corner. Loeb trying to pick it up, decides to leave it for Bullard. Bullard lets a shot go. Pure out to cut down the angle. Loeb knocked down in front of the net. The fans reacting, thinking there should have been a penalty. Now it's Anderson, stopped at the Calgary line. Roberts bangs it back into Edmonton territory, and this will be an icing call against the Flames. For the second game of this Smythe Division final, the Flames hold the edge in shots on goal, and most importantly for Calgary tonight, they also lead at 4-3.
That's right, and you know, from the standpoint, there's the play in front of the net. Loeb is upended, and MacSorli had gone for the puck and really went on top of Loeb, and the crowd just went wild on that no call by McCreary.
Face off in the Calgary zone, and Crimmin gathers it in. Looking for Tonnelli, he couldn't control it, and Randy Gregg keeps it in at the point. McCrimmon will try to get it out of there again. This time he's successful. Ron Tonnelli has it. Tonnelli on his wrong wing. Gets it loose, and across the line with Suter. Suter takes a shot, it's wide. McDonald from the point, he lets go a rocket, and that goes off the glass. And out of play now on the side of the net, Tonnelli and Gregg gets fixed up. Tonnelli went flying, but nothing happens.
Well, Randy Gregg was the Oiler, and we haven't seen a lot of that tonight. It's been mostly the other way around, but Tonnelli just chose to turn the other cheek. It happened in front of the net. He's standing up, and watch him get pushed around right here. I think Gregg turns around and gives him a bit of a shove. But Tonnelli, like you mentioned, the season pro, he's not going to get suckered into any retaliation at this point. No, with a 4-3 lead.
10:56 remaining. John Tonnelli missed game one. Was inserted into the lineup tonight with 51 goals scorer Joe Nieuwendyk on the bench. From the face-off, Smith. Over to his defensive partner, Randy Gregg. His pass doesn't get past McDonald. They continue the battle along the boards and force another face-off. This line, Tonnelli, McDonald, very effective for the Calgary Flames tonight.
And Otto, Poplinski, Churla, they've been put together against Messier, and they've really laid on the body. And a big game from Shane Churla. He took a very costly penalty, but we see here now where Churlas and Hunters have now become a factor in this game.
Roberts had been up there with McDonald and Tonnelli. Hunter is now playing the wing. And it was Hunter who was out there with Loeb and Bullard that got the go-ahead goal at 4:03 of this third period. McDonald got the first goal of the hockey game from Tonnelli and Vernon. And that certainly provided the Flames with spark here at the Saddledome before a full house tonight.
Well, the Oilers have not played their fourth line very much. In fact, they've inserted Krushelniski in place of Jeff Courtnall on this line with McTavish and Lacombe.
Randy Gregg ahead to McTavish. In across the line, McTavish gets it again. McTavish going back to the net, still controlling it. Then he's upset. McTavish gets it again, playing it back to the line for Randy Gregg. Gregg takes a shot. It doesn't get through, but now Lacombe gets it, and he blasts it high. Picked up off the end glass by Tim Hunter. He moves it into the neutral zone for McDonald, who slides it into Edmonton territory, and the Flames make a line change. Lacombe on the right side. Gets away from Mullen. Then he flips it deep into the Calgary zone. Messier fighting there with Napris. The puck goes loose back of the net, and Reinhardt has it for Calgary. 9:47 left in the period. 4-3. The Calgary Flames lead the Oilers. Game 2 of the Smythe Division Final. Game 3 Saturday night at the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton, and we'll have it for you on Hockey Night in Canada.
And Sather, he's really been juggling his lines around. Now he's got Courtnall out with Messier, so he's trying everything to get this pattern established and get him away from those big, heavy checkers.
Messier on the right side for Courtnall. Tikkanen is there as well, and it's offside. Well, this is the one-loss record for the two teams, Edmonton and Calgary, in their last 10 games. Edmonton with the edge.
And one forward for the Oilers. They haven't been able to shake loose young Craig Simpson. In fact, he missed a shift on that last one, replaced by Courtnall.
Another minor altercation, a bit of a flare-up at the line as the
Roberts and Anderson got into it. I don't know if they're both. Yes, the doors are open, so there are more penalties.
Anderson doesn't like the call. He's heading to the penalty box. And Roberts will be going off for the Flames. That took place right at the face-off.
Well, from a Flames, point of view, Don, it's a pretty good exchange. But Gary Roberts has been a disturbing factor in this game, and he's also, when you get a Glenn Anderson with just a little over 9 minutes off, the next 2 minutes, though it's offsetting, it's still a loss for the Oilers.
Roughing calls against Roberts and Anderson at 10:49. Gretzky is back out there with Tikkanen and Kurri. Tikkanen plays it back into his own zone to Muni. Muni up along the boards looking for Gretzky. Lube is back there to intercept. However, Tikkanen does manage to pick it up for Kurri. Kurri couldn't do anything with it. Tikkanen tries to get it across and does to Gretzky with a shot. That slides for the goal now. Tikkanen has lost his stick. He attempted to kick it towards the goal, and then there's a lot of pushing and shoving, and Rob Ramage comes flying in there to send Muni to the ice. There was a pile-up in front of goaltender Mike Vernon, and the players driving for the net. As Lube now and Gretzky do some pushing. Ballard comes in, and the two linesmen, Kevin Collins and Leon Stickle, try to keep them apart, and Lube and Gretzky are still having words.
Well, that was a matchup. I was questioning whether Ballard and Lube out there against Gretzky, but in the neutral zone, Lube had taken the man out, but the incident happened behind the Calgary goal line. I think it was Muni was upended by Ramage to start, and Tikkanen was also put down. Well, Gretzky now with Kurri and Messier, so Glenn Sather, and he's done this very often, Don, when he's in a position that he's in right now, he keeps shuffling the troops, but you'll see Gretzky and Messier out there most of the time, and with Gary Kurri on that wing, it's a pretty tough line to defend against.
Berezan flips it in, and then Berezan was knocked down at the line. It looked as though he may have caught an errant stick. Messier with a long shot, big rebound as Vernon makes the save, and the puck is banged down the ice into the Edmonton zone.
Well, the Flames defenseman backing him just a shade on Messier. When he can crank it up, it's still a good save by Vernon.
Messier gets it ahead to Gretzky. In across the line, but Messier was offside.
Well, that's one concern with McCrimmon and Suter out there, that they both are defensemen at times give out the line, and they did it on that one.
Vernon made a big save on that blast by Mark Messier. There's another look at it from behind the goal.
Well, yes, and like I mentioned, with McCrimmon and Suter, here's the chance, and you've got to stand up a little more when you're 1 against 3, and especially Messier.
28-22, the shots on goal favoring the Flames with 8 minutes remaining in the hockey game, and they're in front 4-3. Trying to put this series on even terms as it moves to Edmonton for Game 3 on Saturday night.
Be interesting to see, Don, with 8 minutes to go. Gretzky's been on for 1:17. How much of this 8 minutes will he play? Quite a bit.
Reinhardt looking for Patterson. Too far for him, and it slides back into the Edmonton zone. McSorley Along the boards for Curry. Curry gives it back to Charlie Huddy to Messier. Messier forced back into his own zone by Mattress. Now gets it ahead to Huddy. Too far for McSorley, and Jim Poplinski dumps it down into the Edmonton zone.
Well, Mattress doing a fine job standing up on Messier.
Messier on the left side for Huddy. Mattress breaks it up. Gets it to Bullard, who dumps it out into the center ice area. Pass intercepted now by Reinhart. He can't go anywhere as he's checked by Krushelniski. The puck deflected down into the Calgary zone. Along the boards, John Tonnelly comes up with it, and it's dumped down the ice back into Edmonton territory. Scotty, as a coach, if you're a Terry Crisp and leading by one, what would you be instructing your team?
Well, I think they still got to go on the attack. I think they've got to make sure they turn that puck in deep and have the Oiler defenseman going around and trying to chase it rather than giving up easy.
Suter gains the blue line, takes the shot, Fuhr gloves it. And he had John Tonnelli right there looking for a loose puck. And again, more. Well, the respective head coaches were also combatants on the ice in their junior days. Chris playing with Niagara Falls, Saylor with the Edmonton Oil Kings in a Memorial Cup final that Edmonton won.
And they're both very careful what is being put into the media hands, and a lot of respect for the various teams, and they should be, because it's been a toss-up most of the season, and here we are with just a little over 6 minutes to go and still in a one-goal game.
Bullard in the face-off circle against Krushelniski. Smith flips it around to Randy Gray. Dumped out into the center ice area. Picked off by McCrimmon. He gets it ahead to Tim Hunter, the hero of the moment so far for the Flames, with that go-ahead goal at 4:03 of this third period. Now it's Krushelniski. He starts out looking for McClellan. He hasn't had many shifts in tonight's hockey game. With the players in the penalty box, and Saylor has to throw out some fresh troops. It's McTavish. A long shot that Vernon drops at the side of the net. Suter plays it around the glass and down the ice. Fuhr is forced to make the save. Fuhr whips it up on the right side. Too far for Lacombe, and this will be an icing call against the Oilers.
Well, usually when the goaltender can get as much on it as Fuhr, you'd think that somebody in the neutral zone would pick it up, but the puck went off the boards and the Oilers missed it and went all the way down. And I think with the strategy and the wheels turning for the Oilers, they'll want to get some long passes. They're a pretty strong club, though, at putting somebody up in that neutral zone. So they haven't been, you know, a type of team that will say at this position won't give a real effort, because Gretzky likes to hover around that center ice zone on the off wing. And he had a shift before dawn of 2:43. He's been on the bench for a little over a minute now.
Former Premier watching the game along with Normie Kwong, who has some football interests as well as his involvement with the Calgary Flame hockey team. Head man with the Calgary Stampeder organization now. In the corner, McTavish digs out that puck, and he leads the attack for Edmonton. Messier breaking down the left side, but the pass doesn't get through as it was broken up by Mattress. Now here's a 3-on-2 for Calgary. McDonald in across the line. He takes the shot. Here is sent flying as the puck is picked up by the Edmonton Oilers. Here comes Courtnall. Courtnall takes the shot. Vernon makes the save. Fuhr was really decked as McDonald waited and waited before letting that shot go, and Tonnelli and Roberts were driving for the net.
Well, it was Norm Lacombe that actually bowled him over. He was heading back with his check, and he really knocked Fuhr right back into the net. But I think from a standpoint of Roberts, I think with only this little time remaining, you know, that extra shoving and play don't want.
Roberts is in a very feisty mood this evening.
Well, here's McDonald. He cranks it up, and this is the play, I think, where you'll see there's Lacombe. He pushes the Flame forward right over on him, and Fuhr goes back into the net. See, we see it again here now. Watch McDonald now. A similar type that Gretzky scored. He moved in a bit further, but the puck lay there. It was a pretty good scoring chance.
For a moment, Fuhr wasn't quite sure where he was or where the play was, but he had time, fortunately for the Edmonton goaltender, to relax a little as he picked up his stick. But that net was empty. Had a Flame been able to find that loose puck.
Well, they have been going to the net a lot more, but no cheap shots on the goaltenders. There was a lot of discussion. The Flames wanted to go to the net a lot more, but a play like that, really, you're not trying to knock the goalie over as much as you're trying to get involved and get him screened.
Colin Patterson in game one chipped two of his upper teeth and one of his lower teeth in a collision. A 5-minute major that was assessed against Norman Lacombe. He had to have some dental work done following game one. 4:58 is the time remaining here in the third. 4-3, the Flames lead the Oilers. Edmonton won the first game, 3-1. Huddy moves in now. MacSorli is back, trying to get the draw to him. They do. There's the shot. It doesn't get through. Gretzky has it. Gretzky back to the line for Huddy. He lets the shot go. Block saved by Vernon.
Right off the face-off, and Vernon, a similar type of shot. He wasn't able to see it, and Huddy scored in the second period, although Huddy, he really got it away very quickly. Unfortunately for Vernon, he was able to see it. Here's the first one, and that was blocked. It was MacSorli right off the draw, but Gretzky gets this puck through the Flame forward. It's so surprising, but here it is here. Unfortunately, no screen on the play for the Flames. A good glove save. Huddy just got it at the net. He was hoping for a screenshot. Just make sure it's on the net, and it was.
4:49 left to play. Mike Krushelniski taking many of those face-offs tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Leon Stickle doing some repair work to the ice surface in front of that Calgary goal.
They're approaching this face-off like it's a face-off with just about a half a minute go in the game, and they've put Kurri back on the point. And there's Krushelniski talking to MacSorli, getting him up on the line. Although MacSorli is a defenseman, I think they would rather have Kurri's shot back here. So a big draw. It'll be between Krushelniski and Otto.
Again. Huddy moves in a little from the point. This time Jari Kurri is back on the blue line. Krushelniski will be trying to get it back to Huddy, who I'm sure will relay it if he gets it over to Kurri, but that doesn't work out as Natras takes it after Otto gets the draw. In the center ice area, Kurri tried to move it ahead to Gretzky. He was sent flying. Now Gretzky does get it. Huddy is racing for the net. Gretzky drops it off for MacSorli, going for the goal. MacSorli shoots. It doesn't get through, and the puck is dumped out into the center ice area, but there's a penalty, or there's a whistle, I should say, as Colin Patterson is hurt. Natras is also down.
It was a great play by Gretzky, and initially Natras made a good play on Krushelniski, or it would have been a 2-on-1, but Gretzky was able to put the puck behind them, and it got by two Flames, and a pretty good scoring chance for MacSorli.
Again, Otto gets that draw back to Reinhart. He is unable to clear it. Gretzky keeps it in. Vernon is forced to make the save. Reinhart plays it up on the wing and down the ice, and Gretzky goes back after it. The Oilers down by a goal, pressing, trying to get the equalizer here as Kurri comes in across the line. Kurri going for the net, scores!
Well, Gretzky going back, and he put it over to MacSorli, who threw it ahead, but it was a real good play in the neutral zone by Mike Krushelniski. He just taps it. Watch this little tap back to Kurri, and I was surprised that he was able to go in, and Krushelniski stayed on side. He got between Lube and Reinhart, and boy, when he gets in on that position, Don, he picked that bottom corner. Here it is here. It looked like it was going to fall. Lube couldn't catch up to him, and he slid by, but a real quick play, Krushelniski to Kurri.
Kurri along the ice, low to the far side. It's tied at 4. Suter goes back after it in his own zone. Anderson in front of the net, and Vernon makes the save. Simpson came very close to making the deflection for a go-ahead Edmonton goal. Kurri from Krushelniski and MacSorli, the scoring play at 16:01. Simpson and Tonnelli battling in the corner. Tonnelli moves it ahead to McDonald. He can't get up. Ramage now will try. Along the boards to Roberts. It went past him. Gregg gets it and shoots it back into the Calgary zone. Vernon way out of his net to play it up along the boards, and Roberts has it. Roberts dumps it into the Edmonton zone. The Flames make a change as Muni goes back after it. The score tied at 4, 3:05 remaining in the third. McTavish for Edmonton. In across the line. McTavish trying to throw it out front. He's taken out of the play by Reinhart. McTavish gets it again. His shot is blocked by McCrimmon. It goes to the corner. And Lou dumps it out into the center ice area. Now Lowe drives it back into the Calgary zone. 2:43 remaining. The score tied at 4. Along the boards, Bullard trying to move it out of there, having difficulty against MacSorli. He spun around and took a shot, but it was blocked in front. Dumped out, fired right back in again.
It really spurred the Oilers on with a little over 2 minutes remaining, and boy, they sense the chance.
Out into the center ice area. Huddy waits for Gretzky and Kurri to come back to touch the line and then shoots it in. Now it's McDonald coming out for Calgary. He works to the line. Dumps it into the corner. Krushelniski up on the right side. Dumped out into the center ice area. Brought back in by Suter as he plays it off the glass. Charlie Huddy tries to get it out. Suter keeps it in, lets the shot go. It doesn't get through. Berezan has tried to center it for McDonald, and it's intercepted by Gretzky. Gretzky with Kurri, 2-on-2. In across the line, Gretzky waiting for some teammates to catch up. Tried to slide it through to Randy Gregg, but it's intercepted, and back come the Flames. Pass from McDonald, intercepted by Smith, and it's fired back into Calgary territory with 1:24 remaining in the third period. Berezan now for Calgary. On the left side to Tonnelli. Long shot knocked down by Fuhr. Glenn Anderson gets it ahead to Messier. He tried to return the pass to him. It's intercepted by the Flames. In across the line. Poplinski trying to go for the net. And that puck was bouncing at the time. He couldn't get a good shot away. We move into the final minute as Simpson knocks it out of the zone, and racing back after it is McCrimmon. McCrimmon being watched by Anderson. He turns in the corner. Lays it off the glass into the center ice area. Knocked down by Lowe. Over to Muni. Muni plays it in. And it's offside.
Just about say these teams are in overtime with only 40 seconds left. And boy, the pace pick up for the Oilers in the last 2.5 minutes.
Well, Jari Kurri tied it. And that certainly seemed to give the Edmonton Oilers life.
What a great individual effort. I thought maybe Krushelniski was way off the line, but here's the play, and I think he lost it in his body. He got it back, and it was Reinhart and Loob that he beat, and he was able to beat Vernon with that shot, that patent shot right to the stick side, low down. But boy, what a shot by Kurri. What a play.
There you see the collision. McCrimmon on Courtnall, and Courtnall was rubbing his face after he went into the boards.
Well, Gretzky played 6:15 of the last 8:20, so that tells you, how much ice. He's still out there. He's come right back on with 40 seconds to go.
Courtnall has had work done on his neck all during the game. Now they're looking at his face after he was rubbed up against the glass. 4-4 with 40 seconds remaining. Game 2 of the Smythe Division Final. Game 3 coming to you on Hockey Night in Canada Saturday night from Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton. Game 4 also takes place in Edmonton on Monday night. Ramage with a long shot. Fuhr leaves it there for Muni. Ahead to Kurri. To Gretzky. Gretzky with a long shot wide of the net. Ramage picks it up in the corner. 22 seconds remaining. Kurri knocks it in across the line. Two players have to come back to the line. Picked up by the Flames. McDonald can't do anywhere with it. The Oilers drive it in again. It looks very much as though we're going to overtime as the final seconds of this period tick away. McDonald takes a long shot that is stopped at the line, and that ends period 3.
Well, it wasn't the case of the Flames sitting back and letting the Oilers take the play. It was that one big individual play in the neutral zone by Yeri Curry that tied this game up. Crisp is well familiar with overtime, and in 67-68 season with St. Louis, 8 games went into overtime. The Blues won 5 and lost 3, but I was always concerned, Don, about the defensemen jumping up in the overtime, and Flames have a few that can do it.
MacSorli goes back into his own zone behind the net for Charlie Huddy. Up on the wing for Gretzky. Gretzky can't get it out of there. A weak shot directed towards the goal doesn't get through. Now Huddy gets it ahead to Krushelniski. To Gretzky. Gretzky over on the wing. He was looking for Curry. It was deflected and back into the center ice area. Suter loses it. Here's a lead pass for Gretzky. Oh, that came very close to an Edmonton breakaway. Just knocked down at the line in time.
How quick Gretzky anticipated that pass from Curry.
Long lead pass. Berezan dumps it in. He goes to the bench on the change. Smith lays it ahead to Simpson. Simpson looking rink wide for Messier. It's deflected by Poplinski up into the crowd.
Well, say they're showing a lot of confidence in Marty MacSorli, starting him right off the bat at the opening whistle. And there's a fellow Reinhardt boy that's come back after his first game in Boston on March 17th, you know, with a little over 2 or 3 weeks left in the season. He's come up with a good playoff series, a very offensive-minded defenseman. He got stung on the Curry goal, but in all respect to Reinhardt, Curry seemed to lose the puck and then get it back in his body.
Reinhardt, of course, playing with that chronic back problem, one that they tell him, I guess, isn't really going to get any better. Knocked down at the line by Reinhardt. Loose puck picked up by Simpson. A shot and a save by Vernon. He let that puck go quickly. Now in back of the net. Anderson trying to move it out of there. Centers it, and it bounced away from Simpson. And back comes Joel Otto. He has McDonald going in with him. Otto tried to get around Greg. The veteran defender took it away. Greg goes back into his own zone. Rink wide pass for Anderson. Anderson had difficulty controlling it. Suter takes over. He bangs it off the boards to the line. Smith gets it. He was looking down the right side for Courtnall. Too far, and Suter goes back into his own zone. Picks up speed as he hits the line. Gets away from McTavish. Suter tries to slide it through. It's broken up by the Oilers and cleared. Ramage fires it back in. Fuhr rather nonchalantly knocked it down in behind his own goal. Now it's Courtnall trying to move out of there. Almost lost it in front of the net to the forechecking of Tim Hunter. Rink wide pass broken up by Suter in the center ice area. 17:53 remaining in this overtime session. Edmonton leading the series. 1-0, trying to go home up by 2.
More sense of defense, though. Not as many chances. How long that will last, we really don't know. But I thought that they've been a little more cautious than I expected. And a lot of changing of lines, a lot of experience. They had McDonald out there with Otto. They haven't played much together in Poplinski against the Messier line. First time Messier's line hit the ice in overtime.
Tikkanen and Mullen, who were assessed those misconduct penalties at 11:16 of the third period, are now back out of the penalty box, and those are two gunners that both coaches want to have in the lineup in the overtime session. Al MacInnis, who scored the second goal of the game for the Calgary Flames, putting them ahead 2-0 in the second period. Taking a breather at that bench as Suter takes a long shot that Fuhr kicks up into the crowd. Face off to the left of Fuhr. It comes back to the line. Ramage takes the shot, knocked down in front of the net, and dumped out into the center ice area. Fired right back in by Ramage. Berezan tried to pick it up along the boards. He was unsuccessful. It's loose in the center ice area. Krushelniski gets it to MacSorli with Gretzky, takes the shot, and Vernon makes the save. Gretzky back of the net, had difficulty controlling it. It comes to Curry. Back to Gretzky in the corner. Gretzky hanging on to it, being bothered by Berezan. Berezan forces him back into the center ice area. Berezan tried to slide it through, gets it again. Berezan with a shot, it goes wide. In back of the net, Patterson trying to come from around behind the net, and it was knocked off his stick. Now it's Curry to Gretzky. Gretzky falls as he accepts the pass, and the puck winds up underneath him.
Well, there's a line. Otto, Poplinski, Mullen seen a lot of action together. They've been broken up a lot this year, but they've played a lot in their career with this team.
Gray gets it over to Andерсон. He tries to slide it across. Messier couldn't get a shot away. And back comes Calgary. Poplinski in across the line with Otto. Otto was trying to go for the front of the net, tied up by Messier. Now Messier has it for Edmonton. With Simpson. Simpson working against Napris, trying to go around him. And Napris recovers and takes him out of the play. Messier at center ice. For Courtnall. Courtnall having trouble with Napris. The puck is loose. Courtnall gets it again. Now McCrimmon goes back into his own zone. Up to the line to Mullen. Mullen to Joel Otto. He loses it. In across the line. The Combe couldn't go anywhere. It's dumped down the ice. And the Oilers very nearly got caught on a line change.
Yes, a tough place to change, you know, with that bench so far away in this overtime.
McTavish racing after it, poking it to the line, trying to go through. He's upset by Ramage. Suter falls with that puck back of the net. Along the boards, Tonnelly tries to get it out. Pokes it to Roberts. Roberts moving it ahead to McDonald. Working against Lowe. Takes the shot high up into the crowd. Suter has logged a lot of ice time for the Flames. He's back there on the blue line now with McCrimmon. He's worked hard in this extra session. Of course, why not? He was the leading scorer among defensemen with 91 points. Here's Krushelniski. Backhand shot. The save by Vernon. And Suter takes Krushelniski in against the boards. Lou brings it back. Gets away from a check. Flips it into the corner. Lowe and Berezin race after it. They tie each other up. Gretzky comes in to try and help out. He pries it loose. It's kept in at the line. McCrimmon takes a shot. It doesn't get through. In the neutral zone, the puck is loose, and Patterson has it for the Flames. Here he comes. In across the line, going for the net. It's poked away by Fury. Tikkanen of the Oilers can't go anywhere with it. Lou plays it off the boards to Berezin. In front to Tim Hunter. Couldn't get a shot. Reinhart does. It just goes wide. And the rebound bounced away from Hunter. McCrimmon fires it into the corner. Picked up there by Curry. Got it to the line. Messier couldn't get it out. Now Curry gets back into the play, and he starts away. Over on the wing to Tikkanen. Tikkanen puts on the brakes to Messier. Messier in front to Curry. And it bounced away from him as Vernon came sliding way out. Messier gets it again. Flips it up the side of the net as he cut from the corner, and that puck seemed to hang up in the air for what must have been an eternity. And there's going to be a penalty here.
Well, the best pure chance of the overtime, Messier flipping that pass over to Curry, but Messier's drawing a penalty with 14:03 to go in this overtime in the offensive zone for tripping. Messier knew it. He put his head down, and after a great scoring chance, Messier to Curry, and there's the penalty right there. I guess it's on Joey Mullen. Messier getting caught for tripping.
Messier on the play, cutting from the corner, and watch that puck bounce up in the air.
Another 6 inches, you know. The game is over. Now Messier goes in the box. Well, this was a good shot by Reinhart. Just missed the net, and I think it was Hunter on the other side. The puck bounced over his stick.
Mark Messier off for tripping at 5:57. A glorious opportunity for the Calgary Flames with the man advantage to put this series back on even terms.
Also mentioned Messier being one of the top penalty killers in the league and a real leader on penalties for the Oilers. Not available in this penalty.
Now McInnis back into his own zone. Leaves it there for Reinhart. Tavish is trapped deep. Here comes the 5-on-3 as Lou drives it in. Back to the line for McInnis. McInnis to Reinhart. Back to McInnis. He lets the shot go, and Fuhr makes the save.
Well, they put Gretzky out there with Krushelniski for the draw in their own end zone.
Back to McInnis. McInnis slides it into Bullard. Back to McInnis. He takes a shot, knocked down in front of the net. Reinhart keeps it in to McInnis. Into Bullard. Back to McInnis to Bullard. To Reinhart. Reinhart takes a shot that deflects off Kevin Lowe's Wayne Gretzky's stick and up into the crowd. 1:14 remaining in the penalty to Mark Messier. It'll be Krushelniski against Joel Otto in the face-off circle. From the draw, Smith tried to drive it down the ice. Instead, put it over the glass.
An awful big draw. Krushelniski getting it back, but there's a look at Gary Suter, and boy, you know, the way he and MacInnis have played on the power play this year and leading this team in scoring going into this game. And you know, Suter on that point with MacInnis, but he's decided to go with McCrimmon and Ramage, and you get a little bit of a different type of a shot from a Ramage or McCrimmon. McCrimmon will wrist it more than the slap shot.
It appears as though Suter is putting on a new skate or adjusting his old one. From the face-off, Gregg unable to get it out. Now Smith gets a chance ahead to Gretzky. Gretzky waiting for someone to catch up with the play. Gets it to Gregg. A shot saved by Vernon.
It's amazing how Gretzky can see the ice. He's away in the neutral zone, heading towards the end zone. It looks like a one-on-one, and Randy Gregg moves all the way up. Gretzky biding time, turning, and a pretty good scoring chance. When you look where he shot it from, just about to the edge of the circle before he let it go. Didn't get a lot on it, but Vernon was in the right spot. But here's Gregg again after taking that pass from Gretzky. Short-handed chance.
It's amazing, as you say, how Gretzky sees the entire ice and then feathers that pass back to the blue line for Gregg driving in.
And you know, it's a common thing, though, the defenseman, boy, when it's Gretzky, you get that extra second. They back off rather than go at him because he's so quick he could get by you.
Good save by Mike Vernon. 34-34 now. The shot's on goal. McTavish, a backhander from the faceoff. Lube picks it up in the corner. 50 seconds remaining in the penalty to Messier. Now MacInnis to Lube. Lube rink wide for Suter. He takes it off his skates, working against Muni. Goes back of the net. Suter looking to the line. Gets it to MacInnis. MacInnis into the corner. Tonnelli having difficulty controlling it. Ballard tried to slide it back to the point to Suter, and Suter was not in position to accept it. Just 19 seconds left. And the Mark Messier penalty. Suter plays it in high off the glass. Smith trying to pick it up in the corner. It comes loose to Curry. Curry gets it ahead to Gretzky. Gretzky going in. Suter trying to get back. Gretzky with a shot. He scores!
It's a short-handed goal by Gretzky, and boy, oh boy, when he was going down the wing, you could see everything turning, and he knew he had time. And if you're looking for a well-placed shot, it's hard to believe that a man could put a puck in from where he was, exactly where he wanted it. And Gretzky came off, and you see the play come around. It was a good shoot-in by the Flames. I think it's Smith that kind of misses it, but there's Curry, and Gretzky smelling that whole play. Maybe a bit of a gamble. He was able to bridge the distance gap, and look at it right here. Puts it right where he wants it, right over the glove hand of Mike Vernon, and the Oilers go up 2-0. Here it is right here. Gretzky looking and looking. He took one look, and he said, I'm going to put it up high on the glove side. Boy, what a goal.
Curry didn't even hesitate. He just wheeled that puck off the boards. He knew where Gretzky was, and Gretzky let it